renovation and rework of the old Scout Hall at Trangie was a sight for sore eyes, with what one local called a falling down mess transformed into a new heart of the community. The Wungunga Cultural Centre houses some incredible cultural material, including 2 carved ceremonial trees back home after many decades away. Trangie Lauk CEO Terry Millgate says local schools have also already begun using the centre's grounds.
They come and do cultural projects at the school. They have talk where they get guest speakers in to talk to the students about a variety of issues. We have the dance circle behind me, and they use that. They use a campfire, the yarning circle, and it's also going to be a huge tourist attraction.
But back to those 2 trees. The magnificent green box carved ceremonial trees were taken from a property called Malar and transported to Canberra in the early 1960s. They've been at the Australian Museum since then. Terry Millgate says a local farmer started the process, telling her it was time the trees came home. And then she was approached by a Gamilroy man working in repatriation.
John Duggan from Environment and Heritage. He actually called in to see me one day because he'd been speaking to a neighbouring land council CEO, and he'd stated that I was interested in getting these trees back. And so the process went forward from there.
And what a process it was. Just 3 months, and the museum agreed that the trees should be back on country. John Duggan from OEH worked with the Lauk for all the right boxes to be ticked and for the trees' safe journeys home. John says his past museum experience helps when communities want artefacts returned.
I know what communities need to do to get their objects returned back to country. Working out here and working with mobs out here, I know what they're looking for and what they're chasing, and I try and help out where I can.
And so did the entire Trangie community and beyond. Trangie Lauk Chair Diane Smith says a magnificent huge pressed metal boomerang outside the centre was one of many generous donations.
One of the locals, or a few of the locals, actually did the big boomerang that's out the front, and it was done for a Waste to Art project that we're doing, but they've donated it to us, and they've also paid to have it erected in here, so I think that's marvellous,
And it's that community spirit and hard work that the New South Wales Aboriginal Land Council taps into with its annual community fund. Each year, smaller Lauks can apply for funds to assist with community projects, from building purchases, renovations, bush tucker gardens or other economic goals. Newswalk Chair Roy R.C. says it's wonderful to see what Lauks can do.
When you see that decision come to life out in community, and it brings the whole community together, non-Aboriginal people, Aboriginal people, school kids, people that are in leadership positions. It's just it's a fantastic outcome, and it's a shot in the arm for this small community.
The Trangie Lauk is also receiving continued artefact donations, and the centre's collection is already top class. John Duggan says his office also receives material he catalogues before approaching relevant communities about what they'd like to do next.
We then repatriate those to Indigenous communities. Now, this collection that Trangie has with them is loosely provenance to central New South Wales. The original collector collected from all over central New South Wales, so the material that's on display is typical of the cultural heritage that you would find, the stone artefacts that you would find from this area.
So, what next? It's the end of one road and the start of another one.
I just hope it gets bigger. There's a lot more we want to do, and I'd love to see children from Sydney schools be able to come out and spend a few days, and tour the centre and other places around here. We could take them out to the burial ground and, different things like that.
Well, I'm hoping that it actually leads to more things happening in Trangie that will increase tourism and the economic development of the town. So these small towns struggle, and you know, as much as we can do to help it, we will. So with these projects.